tell us about some of the most like coolest or like interesting problems that you've had to solve when a customer calls you to, house, and it could be anything from like a leak or like something else, but like what are some of the most interesting stories you can think of like a problem that you guys had to figure out and you were able to solve it?
God, there's so many. That's the thing. Cross connections.
Okay.
Those are some of the toughest calls in the world.
So
They could
explain
take
what that
days.
is.
That's when you are opening up the best way I could describe it is you open up a faucet, it's cold water. And then all of a sudden you get hot water and then cold water and then hot water and then cold water, and you can't understand why this is happening. So something somewhere in your house is mixing. It's mixing hot and cold. Mixing hot and cold, and that you could be on those calls for sometimes a day or two trying to figure out where it's happening, because it could be happening in a faucet somewhere on the other side of the house that has no relevance to where the problem is. You know what I mean?
Because
Those
it's
are some of the
connected at
calls
some
that drive
level.
me crazy. What's that?
And because it's connected at some level.
Yep, everything's
It's
connected
causing,
together
yeah.
in a plumbing system. So
Right.
it causes, like, we were doing one once. I was at a Jewish lady's house, and in really religious Jewish homes, they have two kitchens. Okay, they have the regular kitchen, then they have the kosher kitchen, and they're almost identical kitchens. Everything's the same. So she was getting a mix in her faucet in the kitchen. It would start off lukewarm, then it would come scalding hot, and then it would get really cold, all within 30 seconds. And trying to figure out what the hell's going on. Do we have a bad cartridge? Do we have this? Do we have that? Looking for hours and hours and hours, going in the basement, feeling pipes to see where it's mixing. Like, is it mixing here? Is it mixing here? It was a bad cartridge on a shower valve on the other side of the house that was causing that problem in the kitchen. That's where you run into it, and experience makes you look at things like that. But when you're inexperienced in a situation like that, it could take hours, if not a day or two, to solve an issue like that.
Now, can it be fun, kind of like being a detective for a day where there's a problem
Sure.
and you got to challenge yourself to see if you crack the code and figure it out?
Absolutely. Absolutely. It is. And then there's a sense of, it's a good feeling when you do figure it out. You're like, oh, and then stuff starts to make sense in your head. You're like, oh man, why didn't I think of that what the hell? Why didn't I think of that in the beginning? You know what I mean? What's not fun is when you can't figure it out within that time span, and then you have your boss breathing down your neck. Jesus Christ, I got you pay this. I'm not paying you to go back out there, stuff like that. That's what's the not so fun part of it.
Yeah. Because every time you go out, you got to get paid, but you didn't solve the problem yet, so you're not getting paid. The company's not getting paid yet.
The company's not getting paid yet, and when you work for a company, that's bottom line is the bottom dollar. That's how it goes.